I didn't call the police. I grabbed my keys, and I drove. The call came at 2:47 a.m. I know because I stared at that clock for a full 3 seconds before my brain registered what I was hearing. My son's voice. Barely a whisper. "Dad, I need help. Please, don't tell anyone. Just come." Then the line went dead. I'm 63 years old. I've survived a heart attack, buried my wife, and built a construction company from nothing. I've seen men fall from scaffolding, and I've fired guys I considered brothers. But nothing prepared me for the sound of my son's voice breaking like that. Marcus is 31. He's an architect, smart kid, always was. He married Vanessa 2 years ago at a vineyard in Napa Valley. Beautiful wedding. Her family paid for everything. I should have seen it then. The way her mother looked at me when I offered to contribute, like I was a stray dog trying to sit at the dinner table. I threw on jeans and a flannel shirt, my hands shaking so badly I could barely button it. The drive from my place in Oakland to their house in Piedmont usually takes 20 minutes. I made it in 12. Their house is one of those modern glass and steel things that looks like it belongs in an architecture magazine. Probably does. I pulled into the circular driveway, and the motion sensors flooded the front yard with light. Before I could even get to the door, it opened. Vanessa stood there in a silk robe, her blonde hair perfect even at 3 in the morning. Behind her was her mother, Catherine Whitmore. Old money. The kind of rich where you don't talk about being rich. "Robert," Catherine said, "my name like a curse. What are you doing here?" "My son called me. Marcus is sleeping." Vanessa crossed her arms. "He's been drinking. You know how he gets." "I don't know how he gets. Marcus barely drinks. Maybe a beer at a barbecue. I want to see him." "It's 3 in the morning, Catherine stepped forward. "You're trespassing. I suggest you leave before we call the authorities." Something in my chest went cold. The way they were standing, shoulder to shoulder, blocking the doorway. The way neither of them would look me in the eye. "Where is my son?" "He's fine, Robert. Go home." Vanessa reached for the door. I put my hand on it. "I'm not leaving until I see Marcus." Catherine's face twisted. Typical. You blue-collar types, always resorting to intimidation. "Vanessa, call the police. I'm his father." My voice came out harder than I intended. He called me. "Now step aside." For a moment, we stood there. 3 people in a doorway. Then I heard it. A sound from inside the house. A thump, like something heavy hitting a wall. I pushed past them. "You can't just." Vanessa grabbed my arm. I shrugged her off and headed toward the sound. Their house is all open concept. Glass walls looking out at the pool. Imported Italian tile. I barely saw it. The thumping was coming from downstairs. They have a finished basement. Marcus showed it to me once. Home theater, wine cellar, gym. "Robert, stop!" Catherine's heels clicked behind me. "I'm calling the police right now." I took the stairs 2 at a time. The basement was dark except for a light coming from under a door at the far end. I tried the handle. Locked. "Marcus!" I pounded on the door. "Son, are you in there?" Nothing. Then, so quiet I almost missed it. "Dad?" I stepped back and kicked the door. It didn't budge. Solid wood. I kicked it again. Harder. Pain shot through my knee, but I didn't care. "Robert, you're going to be arrested." Vanessa was at the top of the stairs. "You're breaking into our home." 3rd kick and the frame splintered. 4th kick and the door crashed inward. The room was small. Some kind of storage space. And there was Marcus, my son, sitting on the concrete floor with his back against the wall. His left eye was swollen shut. His lip was split. His shirt was torn and I could see bruises blooming across his ribs. Oh my God. I was on my knees next to him. What happened? Who did this? He wouldn't look at me. "I'm sorry, Dad. I shouldn't have called. Did someone break in? Is there someone in the house?" "Robert." Catherine's voice behind me. "Marcus fell down the stairs. He's been drinking, and he fell." I turned. She stood in the doorway, Vanessa next to her. Both of them calm, like this was normal. "He called me from a locked room," I said slowly. "After he fell down the stairs, he locked himself in. He was embarrassed." Vanessa's voice was smooth, practiced. "You know how proud he is. He didn't want us to see him like this." I looked at my son, really looked at him. The bruises weren't from a fall. I've seen construction accidents. I know what falling injuries look like. These were deliberate, knuckle-sized. Marcus. I kept my voice low. Tell me what happened. He closed his eyes. I fell, Dad. Like she said. I fell. Son, please. His voice broke. Please, just go. I'll call you tomorrow. We'll have lunch. We'll talk. Just, not now. Every instinct I had screamed to get him out of there. To throw him over my shoulder and carry him to my truck. But he's 31 years old. He's a grown man. And he was begging me to leave. I'm not going anywhere until I know you're safe. He's safe, Robert. Catherine pulled out her phone. But you won't be. I'm calling the police now. You've broken down a door. You've trespassed. And frankly, you're behaving like a violent maniac. Call them. I didn't move. Please, call them. She did. 2 patrol cars showed up within 10 minutes. Piedmont police don't mess around. The officers listened to Catherine's story first. Respected elderly woman, successful family, crazy ex-father-in-law forcing his way into their home in the middle of the night. Then they listened to mine. Then they looked at Marcus. Sir, the younger officer asked him, do you need medical attention? Marcus shook his head. I fell. My stepfather is overreacting. He's not your stepfather, I said. I'm your father. The older cop, name tag reading Morrison, gave me a long look. Mr. Chen, I understand you're concerned, but your son is an adult. He says he fell. The homeowners want you to leave. Look at him. Those aren't fall injuries. Sir. Morrison's voice went flat. If your son wants to press charges or seek help, he can do that. Right now, you're the one who committed a crime. You broke down a door. I heard my son in distress. We can arrest you for criminal mischief and breaking and entering, or you can leave voluntarily and hope Mrs. Whitmore doesn't press charges. He gestured toward the stairs. Your choice. I looked at Marcus one more time. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I left. Sitting in my truck in their driveway, hands gripping the steering wheel, I made myself breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth, the way they taught me after the heart attack. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Chen? A woman's voice. This is Officer Sarah Rodriguez. I was one of the responding officers tonight. I'm calling from my personal cell. Yeah? I can't say this officially, but I've been to that house before. Different call. Noise complaint. And I saw what you saw tonight. My chest tightened. What are you telling me? I'm telling you that your son needs help, but he has to want it. And right now, he's scared. They have money. They have lawyers. And from what I can tell, they've been isolating him for months. What do? You document everything. You stay close. And when he's ready to leave, you make sure he has somewhere safe to go. She paused. And Mr. Chen? Watch your back. Catherine Whitmore is connected. I mean connected. Her ex-husband is a federal judge. Her brother is on the city council. You just made an enemy of a very powerful family. She hung up. I drove home as the sun came up. My phone rang twice. Marcus. I answered on the first ring. Dad, I'm sorry. His voice was steadier. Background noise, like he was outside. I shouldn't have put you in that position. Where are you? Taking a walk. Look, Vanessa and I had a fight. She got upset. It won't happen again. Son, she hit you. Silence. Marcus, I've seen men get into fistfights on job sites. I know what those injuries look like. She hit you. Multiple times. It's complicated. It's not complicated. It's abuse. Dad, please. He sounded exhausted. I just need some time to figure things out. Can you give me that? You can come stay with me. Right now. Pack a bag and... I can't. I have a meeting this afternoon. A big client. And Vanessa. She's sorry. She cried all morning. She said it would never happen again. My hands went cold. That's what they all say. I have to go. I love you, Dad. He hung up. I sat in my kitchen and drank coffee and tried to figure out my next move. I'm a builder. I solve problems. You have a foundation issue. You shore it up. You have a structural weakness. You reinforce it. But this? My son trapped in a house with a woman who hurt him and a family that protected her? I didn't have blueprints for this. I called my lawyer, Jim Patterson. We've known each other for 30 years. Robert, it's 6 in the morning. I need to know what legal options I have. I told him everything. The call, the locked room, the bruises, the police. He was quiet for a long moment. Here's the truth. Marcus is an adult. Unless he presses charges or files for divorce, there's not much you can do legally. And if Catherine Whitmore wants to make your life difficult, she can. She could file a restraining order. She could sue you for damages to her property. She could bury you in legal fees. So I just let my son get beat up? No. You stay close. You document everything. Photos, if he'll let you take them. Texts, calls, and you wait for him to be ready. What if he's never ready? Jim sighed. Then you pray, because that's all you can do. I spent the rest of that day doing research. I'm not good with computers, but my secretary, Linda, is. I had her look up everything she could find on Catherine Whitmore and her family. The Whitmores own half of Piedmont. Real estate, mostly. Luxury developments. Catherine's late husband, James Whitmore III, died 5 years ago. Heart attack at 62. Left her with a fortune and a real estate portfolio that would make most developers weep. Her brother, David Whitmore, serves on the city council. Her ex-husband from her first marriage, federal judge Thomas Brennan, still moves in the same circles. Vanessa was her only child, 28 years old, went to Stanford, worked in her mother's real estate firm. No criminal record. From the outside, a perfect family. I dug deeper. There was a sealed record from when Vanessa was in college. Linda couldn't access it, but she found a student newspaper article, something about an incident at a sorority party. Charges filed, then dropped. Then I found something interesting. Vanessa had been engaged before. Guy named Tyler Morrison. The engagement ended abruptly 3 years ago. I tracked down Tyler through LinkedIn. He was living in Portland now, working in tech. I called him. This is going to sound strange, I said, but I'm the father of Vanessa Whitmore's current husband, and I have some concerns. The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought he'd hung up. Mr. Chen, he finally said, you should get your son out of there. Can you tell me what happened? Another long pause. I signed an NDA. Catherine paid me $50,000 to go away and never talk about what happened. I'm not asking you to break it. I'm asking you, father to father, if I should be worried about my son. Yes. His voice was barely a whisper. God, yes. The first time she hit me, I thought it was an accident. We were arguing and she shoved me. I hit my head on the counter. She was so sorry, cried for hours, swore it would never happen again. My stomach turned. It happened again and again. She'd get angry and I'd end up with bruises. I'd make excuses, walk into a door, fall down some stairs. Her mother knew. She had to know. But she never said anything. And when I finally tried to leave, Catherine showed up at my apartment with a lawyer and a check. She said if I told anyone what Vanessa did, she'd destroy me, ruin my career, make sure I never worked again. Did you go to the police? I tried. They laughed, told me to man up, said I was probably the one hitting her and trying to get ahead of it. He cleared his throat. Mr. Chen, get your son out, however you have to do it. I hung up and sat there, my hands shaking. That night, Marcus called me. Dad, can we have lunch tomorrow? Just us. Of course. Anywhere you want. We met at a diner in Oakland, neutral territory. Marcus showed up in sunglasses even though it was overcast. When he took them off, the bruises had darkened. His eye was still swollen. Don't, he said when I opened my mouth. Please, Dad, don't say anything. Just let me talk. I nodded. I know what you're thinking, that I'm weak, that I should just leave. I don't think you're weak. Everyone does. When Vanessa gets upset and I end up hurt, I tell myself it's my fault. I must have said something wrong, done something wrong. And she's always so sorry after. She brings me flowers. She cooks my favorite meal. She promises it won't happen again. How long has this been going on? He stared at his coffee. 6 months after we got married. Little things at first. She'd throw something, slam a door. Then one night I said I wanted to visit you for your birthday and she lost it. Said I was choosing you over her. That I was a mama's boy, except with my father. She pushed me and I fell, hit my head on the bookshelf. You could have died. I know. She knew too. She called 911, told them I'd been drinking and fell. The paramedics believed her. Why wouldn't they? Look at her and look at me. Who's going to believe she's the violent one? I believe you. His eyes filled with tears. She controls everything, Dad. My phone, my emails, my money. Our accounts are joint, but I don't have access. She gives me an allowance. I can't see my friends unless she approves. And her mother. Catherine watches everything. She has cameras in the house. She knows when I leave, where I go. I feel like I'm going crazy. You're not crazy. You're being abused. I'm a grown man. Abuse is abuse. Doesn't matter who you are. I reached across the table. Come home with me. Right now. We'll get your things later. I can't. I have a career. My whole portfolio is tied up with Catherine's firm. If I leave Vanessa, I lose everything. My job, my reputation. Catherine will make sure I never work as an architect again. She's already told me that. You'll rebuild. I'll help you. Dad. He smiled, sad and broken. You don't understand how powerful they are. Catherine Whitmore doesn't just know people. She owns them. Judges, politicians, police chiefs. If I try to leave and Vanessa doesn't want me to, they'll find a way to stop me. Then we'll be smarter than them. He looked at me for a long moment. What are you thinking? I'm thinking that rich people get away with things because nobody ever looks too hard. But if someone did look, I bet we'd find something interesting. Dad, you can't go after Catherine. She'll crush you. Maybe. Or maybe she's been getting away with things for so long that she's gotten sloppy. I pulled out my phone and showed him the article about Vanessa's sealed record. What happened at Stanford. He went pale. How did you find that? Doesn't matter. What happened? Vanessa attacked her roommate. Put her in the hospital. But Catherine made it go away. Paid off the roommate's family. Sealed the records. It was like it never happened. And your ex-boyfriend? Tyler? She told me he was abusive, that he tried to control her. I talked to him. Want to guess what he said? Marcus closed his eyes. The same thing I'm telling you now. There's a pattern here, and patterns can be documented. If we can prove Catherine's been covering up Vanessa's violence, if we can show the payoffs, the sealed records, that's not enough to get me out. No, but it's a start. I leaned forward. Do you have access to any of Catherine's files? Business documents? Anything? I work for her firm. I have access to project files. Then start copying them. Everything you can. Put it on a drive and get it to me. What are you looking for? I'm not sure yet. But people who abuse power in one area usually abuse it in others. If Catherine's been paying off victims and manipulating court records, what else is she doing? Is her real estate business clean? Are her contracts legitimate? Marcus was quiet for a moment. There was something. A project last year. Low-income housing that was supposed to be built in East Oakland. Federal funding, tax incentives, the whole thing. But the project never broke ground. The money just disappeared. How much money? $12 million. I sat back. That's federal fraud. She has friends at every level. Dad, even if we had proof, who would we take it to? Someone who doesn't owe her favors. I pulled out the card Officer Rodriguez had slipped under my windshield wiper. Someone who wants to help. Over the next 3 weeks, Marcus fed me information. Project files, emails, financial records. He was careful. Only copied things when Vanessa was out and the cameras were off. Only contacted me from burner phones purchased with cash. What we found was bigger than I'd imagined. Catherine's real estate firm had been defrauding the federal government for years. Low-income housing projects that were never built. Environmental remediation that was never done. Tax incentives claimed on properties that didn't qualify. And the money? It went through a series of shell companies, eventually landing in offshore accounts. I took everything to Officer Rodriguez. She took it to the FBI. The investigation started quietly. Federal agents don't knock on doors and announce themselves. They watch. They build cases. They wait. Meanwhile, things at home got worse for Marcus. Vanessa could sense something was wrong. The violence escalated. He called me one night, barely able to speak. She found my phone, the burner. She knows I've been talking to someone. Get out. Right now. I'll meet you. I can't. She's locked me in the bedroom. Dad, I'm scared. I'm calling the police. Don't. Last time the police came, they sided with her. Please, I'll figure something out. But I'd already dialed 911. I told them my son was being held against his will, that he was in danger. The dispatcher sounded skeptical. Sir, is your son an adult? Yes. But, has he been injured? Yes. His wife has been. Sir, we'll send a unit to do a welfare check. But unless your son wants to press charges, there's nothing we can do. They sent the same officers from before. Morrison and his partner. Marcus told them he was fine, just a misunderstanding. I watched from my truck across the street as they left. Morrison saw me. He walked over. Mr. Chen, you need to stop. I understand you're worried, but you're making this worse. My son is trapped in there. Your son is an adult who says he's fine. If you keep this up, I'll have to arrest you for harassment. He drove away. I sat there until dawn, watching the house. All the lights were off except one, second floor, Marcus's bedroom. At 6 a.m., my phone rang. Officer Rodriguez. Mr. Chen, I need you to listen to me carefully. The FBI is moving on Catherine Whitmore today. Multiple charges. Fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. It's going to be big. What about Marcus? That's why I'm calling. When the news breaks, things are going to get chaotic. If Vanessa realizes what's happening, if she thinks Marcus was involved, you need to get him out of there. How? I don't know. But do it fast. The FBI raid happened at 8 a.m. I watched it on the news. Federal agents swarming Catherine's office building. Boxes of documents being carried out. Catherine herself being led away in handcuffs. The news anchor called it the biggest fraud case in the city's history. I called Marcus. No answer. I called again. And again. Finally, a text. Can't talk. Everything is crazy. Vanessa is losing it. I drove to the house. Vanessa's car was in the driveway. So was Catherine's lawyer's Mercedes. I called Jim Patterson. I need you to draft divorce papers. Right now. Robert, you can't file for divorce on your son's behalf. Not filing. Just drafting. I need them in my hand in 1 hour. He didn't argue. I waited outside that house for 3 hours. The lawyer left. Then another car arrived. A woman I recognized from the society pages. One of Catherine's friends. At 2 p.m., the front door opened. Marcus stumbled out. He was holding his ribs. His mouth was bleeding. I was out of the truck before I could think. Marcus! He saw me and his face crumpled. He started running. Well, limping fast. Vanessa appeared in the doorway. Marcus, get back here. She started after him. I stepped between them. Move, Robert. Her voice was ice. This is between me and my husband. No. I stood my ground. It's over. She tried to push past me. I didn't move. She swung at me, her fist connecting with my jaw. I'd been hit harder by falling 2x4s, but the shock of it made me step back. You did this, she screamed. You destroyed my mother. You destroyed everything. Marcus was at my truck, getting in the passenger side. Your mother destroyed herself, I said quietly. And you've been destroying my son. But that ends now. I walked backward to my truck, never taking my eyes off her. She stood in the driveway, shaking with rage, as I drove away. At my house, I helped Marcus inside. His ribs were cracked, not broken. His lip would heal, but the look in his eyes, that would take longer. I'm sorry, Dad. He sat on my couch, the same couch he'd sat on as a kid watching cartoons. I should have listened to you. You're out now. That's what matters. They're going to come after us. Vanessa, her mother's lawyers. Let them try. I handed him the divorce papers Jim had prepared. First thing tomorrow, you file these. Officer Rodriguez already has photos from tonight. Medical documentation. And Tyler Morrison? He's agreed to make a statement. Tyler? Turns out when the FBI started investigating Catherine, they found the NDA she made him sign. Paying someone to cover up a crime? That's obstruction of justice. The NDA is void. Marcus looked at the papers, then at me. How did you do all this? I'm your father. It's what I do. The next 3 months were hard. Vanessa fought the divorce. Catherine's lawyers threw everything they had at us. But the FBI case was airtight. Wire fraud, money laundering, tax evasion. Catherine Whitmore was looking at 15 years in federal prison. And when Tyler's story came out, when the Stanford incident was unsealed, when 2 other ex-boyfriends came forward with similar stories, public opinion turned. Vanessa's firm dropped her. Her friends disappeared. The divorce was granted, and Marcus got a restraining order. The last time I saw Vanessa was in court for the final divorce hearing. She looked smaller somehow. Older. Her lawyer had advised her not to speak, but as we were leaving, she called out, "I loved him." I stopped. "No. You controlled him. There's a difference. He was weak. He was kind. And you mistook kindness for weakness. That's on you." Marcus squeezed my shoulder and we walked out together. 6 months later, Marcus opened his own architecture firm. Small projects at first, but honest work. He's seeing a therapist twice a week. He's reconnecting with friends he'd lost touch with. And every Sunday, we have dinner. Just us. Sometimes we talk about what happened. Sometimes we don't. Last week, he showed me a design for a community center. Pro bono work for a neighborhood in East Oakland. "It's not going to make me rich," he said. "That's not why you're doing it." He smiled. Actually smiled. First real smile I'd seen in months. "No, I'm doing it because someone once told me that you measure success by who you help, not what you have." Smart guy. Whoever said that. Yeah. He looked at me. He is. Catherine Whitmore was sentenced to 12 years. Vanessa moved to New York, last I heard. And sometimes, late at night, I think about that phone call. That whisper in the dark. "Dad, I need help." And I think about how close I came to losing him, but I didn't. Because when your kid calls, you answer. You drive through the night. You kick down doors. You fight lawyers and police and powerful families. You do whatever it takes. Because that's what fathers do.